This is a special thing for the fans. It's our 200th episode. It's a way of saying thank you to the fans. We're excited about the show we made, and we hope that they're as excited after they see it as we are showing it to them.
They told me it was an early birthday party for me. Yeah. I'm really excited.
Very early. They said it was a late birthday party for me. So
that's not true at all.
This is a wonderful opportunity that was thrown together by Straight Talk for a chance for Supernatural, both current cast and crew from the past, to kind of convene with some of our fans and to do effectively the premiere of the 200th episode.
There's like a whole interactive experience going on here tonight. There's a couple rooms downstairs where the fans are being taken through sort of a tour of Supernatural history. There's a bunch of photos, there's a few old episodes playing.
And it's great. It's almost kind of like a nice little reunion for us. You know,
yeah.
We've got guest stars and characters that have been part of the show for, many, many years.
Some not for many years. Some it's been 8 years.
Yeah, some I haven't seen. I saw a beautiful girl out there that was in season 4.
That was my wife.
And oh yeah, that was your wife.
Can't take him anywhere.
Right.
But it's a really cool opportunity. I mean, this is my first time I've ever watched an episode of Supernatural with fans of the show. So thank you to Straight Talk, and I can't wait to get in there and have fun.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
It is most certainly a tip of the hat to the fans, to their incredible dedication to the show.
Honestly, the whole author inserting themselves into the narrative thing, it's just not my favorite. I kind of hate the meta stories.
Me too. And it's one of these few shows also where, like, I don't think Law & Order SVU is going to do an episode about, like, the fans, like, hey, y'all are going to be the criminals this episode as a thank you for keeping us on. And so Supernatural has broken that fourth wall so many times, and the fans have had a great time and said, hey, we love that episode. Like, thank you so much for acknowledging us. And Supernatural has always been one of these shows that has been so involved with the people that both create the show and the people that enjoy the show and keep us going.
You should believe. You both should, because it is all real. I'm Sam Winchester. That's Dean.
Not only do we listen to the fans, which I'm sure other shows do as well, but we actually listen to them so much so that what they say and what they love about the show makes it back into the episodes or creates ideas for episodes. And this is, I think, kind of a culmination of a lot of fans' dedication to the show. And so we're giving a bit of a nod to them and some of the crazy things that they've come up with.
You are idiots.
Hey, Assbutt! Hey, Assbutt!
I mean, what we say in the office when we come up with this stuff is, all right, here we go again, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. But we found that when we enjoy something, it usually works, and the fans seem to agree with us.
While we don't always take the fans' direction, we're listening, we love them, and it's basically our way of saying, we hear you, and now we're going to take everything you said and put it in a big old jumbled soup and have fun with it.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
Wheelchairs, walkers, dentures.
Prescription medicine.
Prescription meds.
Over the next 200, I think you'll expect the old folks home and a walker, but at the beginning of each year, Jeremy and I will sit down and we'll come up with a premise for the year, where we want the show to go. At no time in 10 seasons have we known what the end of that season was going to be. And we really sort of kind of let the story take us where it seems to want to go by itself. When we do our cliffhangers at the end of the year, pretty much we don't know how we're going to solve it the following year, which we think make for good cliffhangers, because if we don't know, probably they don't know.
If you were to ask us, what's the 200th episode going to be like 100 episodes ago, we would have had the same reaction. Like, that's crazy talk. We never like to assume that anything is a given. We never like to assume that we've got another season ahead of us. We always like to assume that this is the final inning. Yeah. And we've got to play our hearts out, and so we do, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why we continue to get additional seasons. So who knows? Yeah. When the game's over, it's over. When that's going to be, We're not quite sure.
But if we had to answer it, it would be, essentially it'd be like the Expendables with longer hair. So that would be episode 400.
The show has this ability to constantly keep reinventing itself. And a lot of that fuel comes from the passion that comes from our fan base. It's like that real fantastic combination of the fan support and the ideas generated out of the writer's room, and then the passion that the crew and the cast brings to it, and which really makes us all collectively think there's no real end in sight.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
How's it going, guys?
Hey. What's going, man?
Are we going to see a revisitation to Sam being able to use his demon power? I mean, I know he's died and come back and things have happened to him, but does he still have that in him? Where if he drank
I'd
demon
like
blood?
to know that, actually. Sirs?
Good question.
No? I'm with you, man. I'd love to do that again. Bob says no.
Bob says no. All right, I can dig it. And then real quick, somewhere down the line, is there an opportunity to maybe have an actor crossover with the guys and Stephen and Mel? I think that'd be kind of cool to have them show up
An
on
Arrow
Arrow and maybe him
crossover?
come over.
Who?
Well, not the characters, but if we had like, maybe this is more of a CW question.
Arrow Natural?
There you go.
Steve is actually a buddy of ours. We tease around about that, but I think that's probably unrealistic.
I think he's busy, but
He's pretty busy.
I mean, also the mythologies of that show and our show are so different. It's not like
I think really
it's not like getting the CSI people together.
I think really the only crossover that makes sense would be if our show does outlive the Vampire Diaries and Sam and Dean just come in and wipe them all out.
That's the last episode of Vampire Diaries. And
Just the
Impala
the
pulls
Impala's
into town.
taillights.
The Impala's taillights cut to black.
You guys know we're gonna see those guys again, right? I mean, it's gonna be awkward.
We're gonna say it's your idea.
It's okay. I'm not worried about it.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
Hi guys, my name is Lily, and I just want to say thank you so much for putting on such an enduring show.
Awesome.
What I wanted to know is, you guys just seem to really get along, the three of you. Every time you see each other, it's all a ruse, okay. My question is, has it always been that way, or was there any kind of ambivalence because Misha wasn't always there, and especially at the beginning?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what he's doing here.
I'm talking to Misha.
You're talking, yeah. Shut your pie hole.
Look what you did.
I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
Can we get rid of this thing?
He's very fragile.
Thanks, Uncle Phil.
A single man tear.
What makes this awkward is I don't really know what your question is.
Did you feel awkward coming into their relationship already
coming
as
into
actors?
this.
Because they already had chemistry in this
Yes,
style.
well, not only that, but I mean, it's always, as an actor, anyone who comes into a show as a guest star, or maybe I'm speaking just for myself, but it's always awkward when you come onto a set and everyone, the cast and the crew, know one another, they get along, you're the new kid. It's like being the new kid at school. It was definitely awkward, and it took a long time, probably 14 or 15 years to get over that.
Misha didn't do himself any favors.
No.
I mean, he's a weird dude, as it is.
Jensen has a good story about this, I think.
It was he and I both.
Yeah.
I
They
kid
were
you
like,
not.
what the f is wrong with that guy? Was their take, right?
Yeah. Well, you were doing a little bit of method thing at first.
It wasn't method.
Oh,
it was
dude.
just I didn't like you guys.
He came in, he did the voice, and the partition.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what he was doing with the voice thing. It was just Dean, which threw me off a little bit. And then I think Misha and I got into this unknowingly got into some sort of a vocal competition over the next several years.
7 seasons.
Which was essentially trying to see how low we could go. And now he and I
then
both...
Mark Shepard came in and blew us out of the water.
Right. But now we're actually both seeking medical attention for the degradation of our entire vocal cords. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I do want to say that in that episode, I think that Misha really stood out in that. That was great.
I think that's a good point. She makes a good point.
It was also...
Yeah.
I'm taking you're a big Castiel fan. That's what I'm getting from this whole...
No, I'm totally Team Sam and Dean.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Let me just add one thing, button on that. I love going to work with these guys. I think part of the reason that the show has endured as much as it has is that this is a cast and crew that has fun together. I think one of the biggest liabilities that Warner Brothers sees with this show is that we waste so much film laughing. We have a good time there, and we love each other, and these guys are like a pair of brothers, and it's a joy to be a part of it, honestly.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
We have seen Castiel become human. We have seen Sam technically possessed by an angel, even though it wasn't Lucifer. We've seen like an evil, murdery demon Dean kind of character. Are we going to be seeing anything else that kind of alludes to the end episodes, 2014 verse with Croatoan or Lucifer or anything like that in the near future, since we're still in the beginning-ish?
Yeah, that was a glimpse of what could happen if certain things do happen, correct? Yeah, but we didn't do that, so I don't know that will ever happen. But yeah, Robbie just said, I'm sure Cass is up for orgy stuff, but I think where it changes is the fact that what needed to happen in order for that world to exist did not happen. So thanks for
Very good.
I was literally like a puppet during that answer.
That reminds me, I just got my buddy emailed me something. It was, I guess, something on a blog, or it was on the internet somewhere. And when was the Mayan apocalypse? 2012 or whatever it was. And it was one of those funny memes. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And it said, "What if the Mayan apocalypse really was supposed to happen, but these guys stopped it?" And it went down to our mugshots down the same.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
Hi, I'm a big fan. Are we ever gonna hear from the Meg and Castiel love vibe going on?
Are we gonna revisit the Meg Castiel storyline?
Yeah.
You know what? This is so great. We could really use this at conventions. Just sirs.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
That combo?
I really do.
What is it?
Megstiel?
Yeah.
I love that combination. I'll tell you that. I mean, I thought that last episode with them was one of my favorites, and it was a wonderful, sad send-off to Meg. So will we see her again? Well, we've got 200 more episodes to go, so you never say never, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
Robbie, let's start with you and how you came up with this magical episode.
This young man and this young man over here at the beginning of the season floated the idea that we might do something absurd for the 5th episode, which was a high school musical. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I will kill all the other writers who are sitting right over there to write this episode. As soon as I heard it, I just started thinking about the movie Rushmore, which is ultimately this one kid, Max Fisher, puts on these love letters to these movies that he loves. It's Serpico, it's Apocalypse Now, and all this other stuff. And it just felt like a great way to craft a love letter to the show and a love letter to you guys. Oh, and these guys.
That's semi-important, I guess.
If I could add to that, just a
Yes.
thing. So Jeremy and I thought about this, and then it was like one of the first meetings with the writers, and we said, well, does anybody have any episodes? And before anybody said anything, Robbie said, I have episode 5.
Dibs.
I have that. So
You're supposed to come in with like, you know, a standalone, a myth episode, and a myth alone, or whatever the hell they're called, and I had 3 musical pitches. All of which were just this one.
Well, how did you come up with those magical musical numbers? Because they were very catchy, I think. And
That's all a credit to Jay and Chris. I wrote the lyrics, and then
Stand up, stand up,
these
stand
two gentlemen
up.
right here.
Jay
That's
Gretchen,
Jay and
Chris
Chris.
Leonard.
I watched a lot of musicals. I listened to a lot of too many. I listened to a lot of musicals, and really my wife was the biggest inspiration. She's a big musical theater kid. My wife's middle name is Marie, Maeve, Siobhan, Kristen, everyone. That was all the theater kids that she went to school with. So yeah, it's a love letter to my wife too.
You just saved yourself there, Robbie. You just saved it.
She's not here, right?
She's not. She's off writing an episode of Once Upon a Time. So.
Way to hijack the panel.
Thank you.
Phil, how did you kind of approach staging this amazing, I mean, you know, the musical numbers alone must have been
I
pretty
cried a
challenging.
lot by myself in a corner somewhere. It was daunting at times because you had to stage this musical play within the confines of our show, and the girls did a knockout job. Where's Katie and Joy? Stand up. They're here. 2 of our young ladies are here somewhere.
Yes.
Hey, there, right there. It made it a lot easier with a great script and a great cast.
I've never seen them out of their school outfits.
I know.
It's nice to see y'all.
They're actually adults. You realize that.
What happened?
Jeremy, what can you kind of say about where the brothers go from here? Because obviously the mark of Cain is still a big issue for the boys, even though Dean has now been undemoned.
Well, Lou, I'm just thrilled to be meeting you all for the first time here tonight. It's really
Is that
wonderful.
Jeremy?
Yeah. The boys. I think one of the really nice things to come out of Dean being a demon was that the boys
Was the I'm too sexy scene. That was the best thing to come.
More musical numbers, always.
was a chance for them to find a way to be the brothers that they had been, even some years back, to reconnect again in a way that they maybe haven't in some time. And I think it's that newfound rediscovery, I'm making up sentences now, of that bond that is really put to the test in the coming episodes. And I'll leave it at that.
That's a good place to leave it.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.
It's a pretty out there episode concept. So, Jared and Jensen, what was your reaction when you first heard the pitch for the concept?
Please don't make us sing. It was, you know what, we've been in a situation like this probably more than actors on other TV shows where they tell us to break the fourth wall, and we're always thrilled. Our approach to this is as long as we kind of remain true to Sam and Dean in the situation, which obviously made for a lot of comic relief with us kind of going like, seeing what's going on. I think as long as we are true to Sam and Dean in that situation, I think it's kind of daunting.
I didn't have a positive reaction when I read the script. And the first time in, I think, 200 scripts, I went and sat down in the showrunner's office and said, what in the God's name, what are you doing? Why is this, why? I need to understand why this is happening. He did a very eloquent answers for me, and he did a very good job of explaining why we were doing what we were doing. And I guess I had been aware of this fan fiction for a while and just felt like if I ignored it, it would eventually go away. So when I read this, I wasn't angry. I just wanted to understand why.
You ripped up his office. Come on, dude.
I really, and then on my way out of the writer's office, then Robbie hijacked me, and he's like, hey man, come here.
Wait, hold up.
Sit
Actually,
down.
you left the office and you said, you turned back to him, he's like, so he's fired, right?
Yeah, this is true. I think it was more of a plea to save your job by the time you were pulling me into the writer's room and explaining what was happening. But it was, you know, I just wanted to understand where we were going and what was the message that we were ultimately sending with this script and this story, and by the end of it, I felt good, and I had all the confidence, and they gave me the confidence that I needed in that. And then you know, and look, the fact that it was better than I could have ever hoped, and was I should have never even sat down in that office. So Jeremy, I'm sorry.
The last episode that we saw before this one, Dean is no longer a demon, so that's good. Castiel has some grace, not his own, but he is regraced. So Misha, can you talk a little bit about where Castiel will go from here, what we might see for him coming up?
I'm going to sidebar for a second, though, because why not? When I got the script, I also sent an email. I wasn't so audacious to show up in the writer's room because these guys don't even know what we look like in person.
It's nice to meet you, Jensen.
What's that?
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it is nice to meet you, Robbie, if that is your name.
I sent an email and I said, you know, not for nothing, but this was just the outline. So this was sort of way back at the beginning of the season. I said, I would love to be in the 200th episode, just because it's such kind of a milestone. It's such a big deal. And again, very eloquently, Jeremy explained how they wanted to prioritize quality in this episode. And so they were casting Castiel with another actor. And I thought that was a good choice.
Bold
So,
choice.
excellent. Thank you for doing that. Castiel...
She played it pretty butch, though, I felt. kind of a little too butch.
Castiel has, you know, he's confronting the issues of his fading grace again, moving forward. Because he's on borrowed time at this point, but he's also going to revisit a character from his past. We're allowed to talk about this now, right?
No.
You let the cat out of the bag,
No.
didn't you? He let the cat out of the bag. At the last red carpet event.
And he's
Yes.
fired.
You're fired, I think. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but it's great, and you're gonna love it.
Episode 13 is entitled A Bullet for Cass. We'll keep that one under our hats.
Presented by Straight Talk Wireless. The world needs more Straight Talk. Supernatural, Tuesdays 9/8 Central on the CW.